Notice to the public, if you wish to address the council, please complete the public wishing to address the council form located at either end of the counter and give it to either the chairman or the council clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. All comments must be addressed to the council as a whole. Addressing individual council members or staff is not allowed. Speakers should be courteous of their choice of words and actions, and comments shall be limited to the issue and cannot involve individuals or staff-related matters. All cell phones and electronic devices used for communication should be silenced for the duration of the meeting. I would like to call this meeting of the Terrebonne Parish Council to order, and we will have the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance by Mr. Danny Babin. Please rise.
Heavenly Father, we ask that you bless all gathered here this evening and guide thoughts, words, and actions in the best interest of the entire Terrebonne Parish community. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Babin. Can we please get a roll call?
Mr. Trusclair, Mr. Pledger, Mr. Harding, Mr. Michelle, Mr. Amity, Ms. Doman,
Here.
Mr. Guidry, Mr. Babin, Mr. Guidry. Ms. Chairwoman, you have a quorum present.
Thank you so much. Approve the minutes of the regular council session held on April 12th, 2023. Moved by Mr. Darren Guidry and second by Mr. Dirk Guidry. Members, vote your machines. We have 9 yeas, motion passes. Approved minutes of the special session condemnation hearing held on April 24th, 2023. Moved by Mr. Dirk Guidry. Second by Mr. Darren Guidry. Members, vote your machines. We have 9 yeas, motion passes. Distribute the minutes of the regular council session held on April 26, 2023. Approve accounts payable list for 5/1/2023 and May 8th, 2023. Moved by Mr. Daniel Babin. Second by Mr. Darren Guidry. Members, vote your machines. We have 9 yeas, motion passes. Item 1, general business. A proclamation proclaiming May 6th through 12th as National Nursing Week in Terrebonne Parish. Mr. Darren Guidry.
Yes, Madam Chair. And as a person whose wife was a nurse and whose mother-in-law was a nurse and has been surrounded by nurses that still are nursing me to this day, it's with pleasure that I read this proclamation. It says, whereas each May we recognize the dedication and commitment of the many nurses and other healthcare professionals provided for and promoting public health and wellness during the National Nurses Week. And whereas we celebrate National Nurses Week each May in honor of the birthday of Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing. And whereas nurses have continued tending to those under their care through crisis and calamity with diligence, compassion, and trust. And whereas all nurses, through their selfless service, greatly impact the quality of life and quality of life for all of those in their communities. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Terrebonne Parish Council on behalf of the Terrebonne Parish President Gordon E. Dove and the entire Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government that the week of May 8th through the 14th, 2023, be hereby proclaimed as National Nurses Week in Terrebonne Parish. And with the theme of the 2023 celebration, As You Make a Difference, residents are encouraged to recognize and share their appreciation of all nurses practicing or retired for their contributions to the health and welfare of Terrebonne Parish and the nation. It's presented this 10th day of May 2023, signed by Parish President Gordon E. Dove and Council Chairwoman Jessica Domain, endorsed by the entire Terrebonne Parish Council.
Mr. Michel, would you like to speak now, or would you just like to speak after? Okay, I'm sorry. Item B, a proclamation proclaiming May 7th through May 13th as National Hospital Week in Terrebonne Parish. Mr. Michel.
It is with honor that I have the opportunity to read this because unfortunately last year I had 10 hospital stays, and the level of care that I received is just incredible, and I'm so grateful for that. So with that being said, the proclamation reads, whereas each May during National Hospital Week, we recognize our nation's hospitals and health systems for their ongoing efforts to provide and ensure critical health care and develop new treatments to promote and preserve the health and wellness of all citizens. And whereas hospitals are a symbol for care and safekeeping, with their hardworking employees demonstrating their dedication to the care and betterment of others through their diligence and compassion. And whereas Terrebonne Parish greatly benefits from the many healthcare facilities and organizations located throughout the parish, including the Terrebonne General Health System and the Oxnard Health System, along with many others. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Terrebonne Parish Council, on behalf of the parish president and the entire Terrebonne Parish government, that the week of May 7th through 13th, 2023, is hereby proclaimed as National Hospital Week in Terrebonne Parish, and with the theme of 2023's celebration as #WeAreHealthcare. Residents are encouraged to recognize and share their appreciation for the individuals and organizations providing healthcare in their communities. Presented this 10th day of May 2023, signed by the parish president, signed also by the council chairperson, and endorsed by the entire Terrebonne Parish Council.
I'm Teresita McNabb. I'm the Senior Vice President of Clinical Services at Terrebonne General Medical Center, and it is an honor for me to be here and accept the proclamation for nursing, as I am a nurse, and also the hospital proclamation for Ms. Phyllis Peoples, who was unable to attend. It's great to know that we have the support of the Parish Council and of our community. The past few years have been a struggle for nursing, but I believe that we have come through and shown what we can do, especially in difficult times. And then for the hospital as well with our pandemic and Hurricane Ida. But I hope that it showed to our community and to our council and all our leaders that we are here to take care of our community. So thank you for your support and thank you for this recognition. We truly appreciate it.
Item C, a presentation by Public Safety Director Steve Ponville regarding flock cameras and discussion related to their potential use by law enforcement agencies. Mr. Ponville. I'm sorry, Mr. Harding.
Yes, we've been having conversation throughout the parish, and we realize that not just in our parish, there's a problem throughout the United States. And the citizens that of this parish that have contacted me from various districts and various areas, they express the need of a better way of actually solving crimes and things like that. So I spoke with Mr. Pineville, Mr. Pineville on April 20th. He set up a meeting with the sheriff's office, HPD. The DA's office was in attendance. I was there. And a few other folks that were there also that's associated with the agencies. And at this time, I'll turn it over to him and let him go forward with what he has.
All right, let's get your mic on.
Green, yes. First of all, I want to thank y'all, Mr. Harding, Parish President, and the council for allowing us to take a look at this program, this system, I should say. I'm going to be very brief because we have some very expert uh, uh, speakers behind me that's going to do a little quick presentation for you. As Mr. Harding said, and of course we all know, crime's here to stay and it ain't going nowhere. And we're trying to do everything we can do for law enforcement to give them the tools that they need to do the job they need to do. And as Mr. Harding mentioned, we went a couple of weeks ago to a presentation by the sheriff's office. The police department was there. The detective from the sheriff's office was there, and a representative from the flock camera system was there, and it was very, very, very good. I know all of the information that they're going to give tonight. They won't be able to answer all your questions publicly because there's some things that we really don't want the bad guys to know, and I'm sure y'all understand that. But I assure you, these guys will answer any questions privately that you may have about the system, answer any questions on where they're going to be placed, if possible, in the parish, and the effectiveness of it. Before I came to the council meeting tonight, I don't know. I'm pretty sure most of you follow Facebook. I was made aware last week of a vehicle. We've had a lot of vehicle theft lately in the parish, which is very unusual. And a gentleman that I think we all know, and he said I could mention his name, but I'm not going to do it. Had his vehicle stolen last week, and it was caught in Lake Charles by the flock camera system. It's not a traffic camera; it's a crime camera. And like I said, I don't think the guys are going to go into too much detail on how the system works publicly, but privately they say if you call them, they'll tell you anything you want to know. So with all of that said, I want to thank the council, all of you, for letting us take a look at this thing. We believe that it's very effective and it does work. So I'll ask Travis, our chief of police, Travis Terrio, to come up, and he'll start off, and then we'll go from there.
Travis Terrio, Chief of Police, Homeland Police Department. So, again, I want to thank everyone for your time and consideration. This is pretty monumental that we even getting to look at a system such as this. It's actually been in play for quite some time, and it's pretty much always been lack of a better term, a dream of both of our agencies to have something this sophisticated in this parish. And before the sheriff's department became a stakeholder and an account holder in this system, we were utilizing this to solve crime in other parishes. And it was linked to solving major crime in our area. What crimes, I can't go into detail, but I can tell you that it has been truly amazing to see what this system can do and how much it helps our investigators keeping our parish safe and recovering property at times. Like he said, it's a crime camera. I know we talk a lot about cameras, but this system does not replace everything else we've been doing. We need it in conjunction with everything going on. And nothing's 100%. Just because we're going to get the system, it doesn't make it 100% guaranteed that we're going to solve something. But every time we add something and give another tool to our investigators, we're going to get a little bit closer to bringing closure for families in these major crimes and recovering major pieces of property as well. It's not enough we can say about how much we have used this system as an investigator, because like I said, I was chief of detectives before, and it was an investigation since 2004. And it's probably one of the best systems I've seen out there for what we're looking to do. And when it comes down to it, the sheriff, whenever he had President Dove and Mr. Ponville, and I privilege of speaking with the sheriff as well, I'd like to thank the sheriff for even inviting us in and the parish government in to even take part in this. And it's not just that the cameras are needed within the city; they are, but they needed throughout the parish. And just because we put them in the city doesn't mean that they're not going to help out the sheriff's department as well, and help out every district in the entire parish. So that's why we come in before the council, because it's not just a city issue. This is a parish-wide issue, and we all share the same problems, and we share in the same criminals as well. So I'm not going to take up too much of your time because there's not really much more I can say about it, but we do have some representatives. I'm going to call up Captain Voisin from the Sheriff's Department, and we also have a representative of Flock that actually flew in from Atlanta as well, if nobody has anything for me.
I actually have two lights, so do you guys have you guys, okay. Mr. Michel, would you like to?
Yeah, no, I want to ask a quick question.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
all right, Mr. Michel.
If you want to answer this now, or if you want to defer it to later, is fine. But with that being said, what are you asking of the council in order to get this done? That's probably the main thing I need to know.
In the end, we are going to be asking for funding. And we just wanted to make sure everyone understood, what the system was as best of our ability before we, just came out and started asking for
Somebody's
funding.
going to go into more detail on that in a little while?
The gentleman from Flock
That's
has
good.
the information on the
That's good.
funding.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all for y'all time. Thank you very much.
How you doing? Cody Wozniak, Chief of Detective at Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office. This is Tom Dull, Flock.
Yep. Excuse me, guys. My name is Tom Dull. I am the Louisiana government sales representative. I do live in Metairie, but I did fly in from Atlanta, so I am a. I flew in a little bit early, but the quicker I can get out of Atlanta, the better. So really honored to present in front of you guys, and hope I can answer any questions you have. But I really do believe in our company, and I'll let Cody kind of explain how they've been using it and fill in some gaps.
So Sheriff Saunier invested in this program. We've a little less than a year now, and it started paying dividends within the first 10 minutes of having it, with recovering stolen vehicles, recovering stolen property, helping to solve violent crimes. And we already have the tool, and Houma Police Department is allowed to use it. We set them up with accounts already because myself and Chief Terrio, we talk several times a day. We work very closely together. Every system we have, they have access to, and vice versa. So we worked very well together on those type of situations. But this camera system is, and like Chief Terrio told you, I mean, I've been a detective for almost 20 years now myself, and this is the best system I have ever seen. We've been using it. Lafourche Parish has been having it for several years, and we work hand in hand with them quite frequently because our criminals go from Terrebonne to Lafourche and back. And we have utilized their system numerous times prior to us being able to get on board with this system. Unfortunately, I wish I could give y'all more details about the specific system, but there's a lot of things that it does that we don't want the criminal to know. I can tell you offhand what it does not do is it is not a radar. It cannot tell us the speed of a vehicle. It cannot tell us who's in the vehicle. It gives us a picture of the vehicle. It can't tell us anything about speed or about the driver or about the occupants or anything like that.
It doesn't do anything such as it doesn't do anything to tell how many people are in the vehicle. It doesn't cross-reference any information with insurance. The cameras are vehicle recognition cameras. They're motion detection, so they take a picture of the back of the vehicle. It is capturing the information that anybody would be able to write down if you're sitting in a red light behind another vehicle. Public information on a public road. The way the cameras are set up, I guess, is they're infrastructure free. They use solar for power. We use LTE to connect to the internet. So it gives these guys a very flexible deployment plan and allows them to strategically place them throughout the parish, throughout the city. The name of the company is called Flock. Our number one goal is to eliminate crime. And we feel like working together with agencies is the best way to do that. So we've built a network that everybody shares. Criminals don't know jurisdictions. They know jurisdictions, but they don't care about jurisdictions. So the way the system works is they're able to share amongst other agencies that have cameras and work together to really respond to incidents and solve crime faster.
Sorry, yes, sir, we do have a couple questions, so just wait up here. Mr. Darren Gidry.
And thank you very much. And crime, of course, is an increasing factor in Terrebonne Parish, and it's across all neighborhoods, across all districts in this parish. Technology is one of the tools that we have that we can use that we haven't had before because of the advances in technology, and I think we need to embrace it fully. You know, I spoke with Chief Terrio about this. He gave me some of the numbers that you guys are looking for out of, our budget, which is probably less than that car that was stolen that was found in Lake Charles. So, this is, I think, a minor investment. If this works and, can help improve the safety of our community, I think it's a definite plus. And I am in full support of this. I have some ideas where we can get the money. I'm sure Ms. Candace would have to come back to us with a budget amendment or so for that, but I would be in full support of that. And I will speak to Ms. Candace of some ideas that I have that may be where we can get some of the money from. But thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Steve Trosclair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm going to start off by saying I'm totally supportive of this, regardless of the cost, because, within any kind of reason, Mr. Gidry just said that, he supports it, if this thing works. Well, I'm going to sit here and say I know it works for a fact. My son's a detective with the sheriff's office. He's been with the sheriff's office for nearly 20 years. I'm not sure how long he's been in the bureau, but he's been, but he actually solved a murder case, a homicide in the town of Montague, where I was born, and it was primarily the use of these. And Terrebonne Parish didn't have any. It was neighboring areas, surrounding areas that allowed him access to their cameras. That I think this case was solved in less than 2 weeks, and the guy was actually outside of the Lafayette area. So it was actually cameras that were used, and Terrebonne Parish didn't have any. So it was just, because of the fact that Lafayette's cameras and any place between here and Lafayette, that he was able to get on a camera, and they solved the case in a relatively short period of time for the circumstances that were given to him. They were given very little to start with. So I'm sure Cody knows all the intimate details of it, but just from talking to my son, and we had this conversation just a couple of days ago about the flock cameras, and he was asking me, if I thought the parish would fund it. I said, definitely will. I mean, if I have anything to say about it, definitely will. It's a prevention. It's not a prevention, but it could serve as a deterrent if people know that there's no place they can hide. That's the big thing. If we can strategically place these things throughout the parish where, the parish is locked in, that anybody in and anybody out can be identified, while their vehicles can be identified. I mean, we need that, because not all the criminals or crime are local people doing it. They coming in, they commit a crime, and they heading out. And that's why we have so many unsolved crimes, because once they're in and out, then if you have no way of tracking them, then there's no way of knowing where they're at. So I'm total support, and I just hope it comes through. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trosclair.
Thank you, Mr. Trosclair. Mr. Pledger.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I was excited about this. I had spoken with Chief Terrio a couple of weeks ago, and he said that Mr. Keith Kraft was going to be heading it up for the Houma Police Department, and I was really excited at that time. And to have you guys here now, it just gets me even more excited. But I want to ask a few questions. First thing is, or I want to make a comment for one. I notice everyone's treading around the fact that they're saying it's only crime cameras, okay? I notice Chief did that. I notice you guys are saying that. And there's people out in the community that are asking those same questions, and they're saying, you know, I don't want traffic cameras. But if you're abiding by the law, guess what? Deal with it. That's what I have to say about that, okay? Now, beyond that, from what I understand, and maybe I have to find out from our folks who used to place the speed bumps and things like that. I think that these cameras can be a great tool to be able to, since we can't put speed bumps because that's a safety factor and all this with emergency response, or if we can, okay. Well, if you don't have speed humps, okay, we can catch those guys speeding through these neighborhoods where kids are, you know, and you can put the signs up, whatever, to have, you know, surveillance for speeders, what have you. But I want to ask, are they capable to do something like that?
No.
Okay.
They do not have radar technology on them.
Okay. All right. Well, that was my biggest question. Hopefully you can catch people who are speeding through neighborhoods, maybe not on major thoroughfares, but at least in neighborhoods and things, because you have a lot of people complaining about that.
There are companies that do make cameras that do that, but these cameras do not have the cameras.
Okay, my next question, are they compatible to work with those cameras? No?
No, sir.
All right. Well,
No, there's no, and I understand where you're coming from and how it would make it a safer community. The only way that you would potentially use that is if you have people in those neighborhoods that are complaining that there's a specific vehicle and they give you a description. They say, I don't know who that is. And they could turn that into the local agency and you would at least have something to work off of. But there's no way it's going to tell you that this person went through going X speed at, you know, other than just this is a picture of the vehicle at this specific time, this specific date, this specific location.
Gotcha, understand. And last thing I want to share is, Chief, you and Mr. Kraft and Cody, you guys hurry up and get that to us so we can get moving on it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Pledger. Mr. Harding.
Yeah, and like they're saying, it's crime cameras. So, you know, man, in reference to the neighborhoods and stuff like that, if something happens in the neighborhood and it's actually a crime, then, you know, man, and the apprehension or the solving of the incident that happened because of a speeder or something like that, then it can be more effective that way. We want to actually let you know the folk out there, Big Brother is not watching you. Big Brother is protecting you. That's the format we're going to have here. Another thing that's to be pointed out here is the fact that another thing that to be pointed out here is it's working together, the Sheriff's Department and the Home Police Department. And what was not brought out is the fact that, you know, in working with the Sheriff's Department, we have an opportunity because the Sheriff's Department has something that's already existing with this particular company. Actually, what the Police Department is asking, it would actually save the parish some money by going and working together with the Sheriff's Department. And I think we also looked at the possibility that, you know, man, there is a cost, a one-time installment cost for these particular cameras. But we can perhaps look at further into what we do in public works and save more money that's there to defer some of that one-time cost. And how we can develop a relationship with DOTD. So that's the thing that we have to work out there. I think Ms. Candace, she's, because it's an agenda item, and I'm pretty sure that she perhaps has looked at something, some of the funding that we can actually have and where we can get it from. And I think this presentation, and we're going to come up with at a later date with the budget adjustments. I think the consensus here that, you know, once that comes up, all the backup and some of the information these guys, my colleagues can access of you guys. And so it shouldn't take that long for that to be done. The other thing about that, when the presentation was given, my concern was the fact that was being locked in at a particular price. These things actually, in the presentation, that was one of my questions that I had, that we don't want these things to keep on elevating out of our reach. So Well, we are sure to that. We're going back all the way back, and I'm saying this on the mic.
Correct.
We're going all the way back to the date of the presentation, so we kind of locked in on those figures and things like that. So as we go forward, and hopefully we can expedite the process. And I appreciate you guys coming up. And don't like the Falcons.
I'm a season ticket holder for the Saints, so. But
Yes, Mr. Dirk Gidry.
Candace, do we need to see if you could find money for this now, or can we put this on our agenda for our next meetings to approve this?
So we will have to do a budget amendment, no matter what's decided. We do have the possibility of using the American Rescue Plan money. What we all need to be very cautious of and careful of is this is an annual expense. The American Rescue Plan money can only be used through 2026. So at 2026, we're going to have to determine, do we continue, do we not continue? But I mean, at that time, we'll know if it's good, if it's bad, if it's working, if it's not. So we do have the American Rescue Plan that we can put a budget amendment in for the next round of meetings if that's what the council would like to happen.
You know, what kind of prize do you put on the safety and welfare of our community? You know, that's one pickup truck a year for the whole parish if we have to pay for it some kind of other way. So, Ms. Tammy, if you could put that on our agenda for next time, and Candace, find us the money. And guys, let me tell you, this is something every community needs. You know, it can save lives. And for the crooks that do commit crimes, let's catch them and put them in jail where they belong, because our society is sick today. There's a lot of people with mental illnesses and everything, people driving here and killing, and drug abuse and drugs. Let's do this and try to get this done, because I think it's a great deal. It's something that we might have should have looked into a long time ago. So if y'all don't mind, if all my fellow council people don't mind us putting that on the agenda for next time. So thank y'all.
Thank you. And I just want to say, when you guys are part of what we call just the flock, you have access to over 40,000 cameras nationwide. There's 2,700 law enforcement agencies that use us. There are additional communities, school systems, and private businesses. And all of those work together and really build a nationwide network of solving crime.
If you don't mind, are there a lot of communities in this area in South Louisiana that's using this flock camera?
There
that we can
are
look to?
32, I believe, in South Louisiana.
Okay,
along,
great. Yeah.
along I-10, basically from Lake Charles to St. Tammany.
So if the sheriff's office is looking for, or the city is looking for a license plate or whatever anywhere, if it goes into this area, do you punch this license plate into the computer, and if it's just noticed somewhere, it pops up on HPD or Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office?
You can.
So you can, or you can look for just the specific type of vehicle as well.
Okay, yeah, because some might not have a license plate, yeah.
We use it at the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office. We have cameras. Homo Police Department uses ours. Lafourche has them. Jefferson has them.
Thibodeau, St. Charles, Kenner, Plaquemine.
The majority of the surrounding agencies do.
Okay, yeah. And like I said, for the safety and welfare of our citizens, I mean, what's the price tag? So thank y'all a lot.
We have a great presence in the New Orleans area, the Baton Rouge area, and Lafayette area. So what we find is a lot of crime comes from the major cities and spreads out to the rural communities. So it's a very valuable tool to be able to partner with those agencies to work investigations faster.
Thank you for your time and your...
Mr. Steve Trosclair.
Yes, thank you. One question I wanted to ask earlier. Does your system, does the flock system, camera system interact with any other systems nationwide? I know we got a good presence in the South here, but will it?
It's linked nationwide.
It's linked nationwide?
It's nationwide, correct.
Okay, so regardless of what camera's up, what?
Any flock
cameras. Any flock cameras. Correct.
So it don't interact with any other company's camera systems.
We have agencies that do bring in feeds from outside IP-based cameras to use for recognition and whatnot. It's few
Okay,
as opposed to our own infrastructure.
correct. All right, that's my question. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Trusclair. Mr. Babin?
Just one quick, once we approve this at our next meeting, okay, so what it sounds like, how long will it be before we have it actually in operation?
So you guys are already in operation now with the cameras that are installed, but typically what happens is we build a deployment plan where we'll look at which locations are on DOT right away versus which locations are on city property, city roads. Obviously, the cities are a little bit quicker to move than DOT because there's different permits that are required. We follow DOT guidelines before we're not just going to request a permit without considering what they require. So it's typically a paperwork time with DOT.
Oh, yes.
I would say city and existing infrastructure, whether it's a power pole, telephone pole, or a city pole, those are usually 6 to 8 weeks installs. Anything with DOT, some of them come back faster, some of them come back slower. I don't have a
pinpoint when you
it really
state,
is.
sure.
But the point of it is we install the cameras. We don't just hand it over to you. We maintain them. If it's a lemon, we come out and replace it. We maintain the solar panels. We're constantly monitoring the latency to make sure that they're uploading the pictures at the proper speed, so that these guys can search for them at the right time. We take all the IT work out of it and really make it to where it's deployed as fast as it can. It's not required to drop power. It's not required to install an Ethernet cable.
Good.
There's a lot that goes into it from our standpoint to maintain it and to really provide.
I mean, let's put it this way: when we adopt this, by year's end, we're going to have
Yes.
everything operational.
Yes.
Okay? That's
By
it.
the end of the summer.
Right. Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Babin. Mr. Pledger?
Yeah, one more question in the dialogue that came across was, I understand that we're gonna, I'm sure you guys have strategically thought about where you want to place them and all that. Now, when we go into this, will we have cameras that are on the shelf so we can, if we find other areas, we can put those in, or will we have to come back to the drawing board, get more money to get more cameras, or what? How does that work?
You would want to deploy all of the cameras at one time because it takes a while with the permits and all that. So you wouldn't have it sitting up on. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm not used to this. You would want to deploy them all at one time. So like the sheriff's office, we did 15 and we deployed them all. You wouldn't want to leave them on the shelf because then you'd be paying for a camera that's just sitting there doing no good.
I get you. Okay. I got it. I understand.
Yeah, and the way we do our customer success is the account has a customer success manager that's assigned to it. In this case, it is Ashley Shambo. So she'll work with the agency to make sure people are using it properly, make sure they're using, getting the most out of it. We do have people that only use, they scratch the surface of it. If you decide that there's a camera that you're just not getting the bang for the buck for, we can move it. We can relocate it. There's an installation fee for that, the same as doing a new install. But you do have the ability to say, hey, we're just not really getting the number of reads that we thought we would, or it just didn't provide the coverage that we thought it would. Doesn't happen very often. But you do have the ability to put in a ticket with us to say, hey, we'd like to redo this one, move it, and it continues the service. We just go through the same process of one-time install again at the new location and go through the permitting again.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Pledger. Mr. Carl Harding?
Yeah, finally. Also, when this strategy was actually was talked about, what they're asking for, the sheriff department and the police department to come together, and they've decided what we need at this time and what we getting what we need beforehand. So we've taken care of that part, and what helps out is the maintenance agreement that's going to come with the package. So therefore, you know, what I mean, I don't know if you guys, or that was the question that was being presented to you guys, and we want to make sure that we asking for what we need beforehand, and that's come together with an agreement between the sheriff's department and the police department, and it actually frees up some things with the police department. So just to throw that out there.
Thank you, Mr. Harding. Mr. Trosclair.
Yeah, and I hate to do this again. We talked about maintenance and stuff, and something crossed my mind. How are these things monitored to ensure that they're working constantly, 24/7?
We run reports in the background.
So y'all do a
So
background report?
Where it's all through the system.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna see if you sit there and watch it, it'll kind of do this as it's updating with how fast it's uploading photos. You'll see as a solar power, if it's been a week where it's rained a lot, the power is going to be lower. But one full day of sun charge provides 7 days of coverage. And even in a cloud, you're still going to get some charge out of it. We don't have issues with solar in the south. Where we run into issues with solar is up north, where they're very clouded,
Right.
especially in the wintertime, in short days and snow and whatnot.
But I guess my question is, say a typical camera malfunction, it's not recording. How soon would you guys realize that that camera's not recording?
We would typically let the agency know before they know.
We had one camera that started malfunctioning, and they noticed it and had it changed within a couple of days, where we didn't even notice it was out. They noticed it immediately and contacted us and said we're sending a technician out there to assess it, and they went out there, assessed it, and had it changed within days.
Right, because I'd hate to be in a situation where we need that camera yesterday at 2:00 in the afternoon, and for some reason the camera wasn't working, and we have no data from it.
Yes, sir. We understand the value of that, and that's why our engineers are constantly looking for red flags, and that's how our monitoring system works.
Thanks.
Thank you. And you know, I also spoke to Sheriff Saunier and to Chief Terrio about this, and I'm in full support of anything that's going to promote public safety. And so I'm in support of these cameras because they are the experts, and they have told me that this is what they want and this is what they feel is like the best system. I also spoke to Ms. Malden, and she reassured me that we have the funding to be able to get started. So we look forward to putting this on our agenda in a couple weeks. So thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Great. Thank y'all.
We have a motion to go into the public hearing by Mr. Dirk Gidry and a second by Mr. John Amity. Members, vote your machines. We have 8 yeses. We're going to the public hearing. An ordinance to amend the 2023 adopted operating budget, 5-year capital outlay budget of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for the following items and to provide for related matters. Animal shelter, $40,000. Lake Boudreaux living mitigation, $4,000. Bayou Terrebonne pump station, $330,000. Montague boat launch, $150,000. Bayou Country Sports Complex, $16,000. Public once, public twice, third time public. Motion to close by Mr. Dirk Gidry, second by Mr. Daring Gidry. Members, vote your machines. We have 9 yeses. Motion to adopt by Mr. Dirk Gidry, second by Mr. Daring Gidry. Members, vote your machines. Motion has been adopted. Item B, an ordinance to adopt millage rates for the tax year 2023 with no roll forward. Public once, public twice, third time public. Motion to close by Mr. Daniel Babin. Second by Mr. Daring Gidry. Members, vote your machines. Public is closed. Motion to adopt by Mr. Daniel Babin and a second by Mr. Daring Gidry. Members, vote your machines. Motion passes. Item C, an ordinance to dedicate and accept the maintenance operation of the street drainage servitudes, the right-of-ways for Imperial Landing subdivision, Phase B, energize and accept the street lights, and to incorporate Sample Drive and the extension of Sucrose Drive and Refinery Drive into the enhanced 911 emergency response system for the purpose of providing a better means of locating addresses. Public once, public twice, third time public.
Motion to close.
Motion to close by Mr. John Amity, a second by Mr. Darian Guidry. Members, vote your machines. Public is closed.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt by Mr. John Amity, a second by Mr. Darian Guidry. Members, vote your machines. Motion passes. Motion to go back in regular order by Mr. Gerald Michel, and second by Mr. Darian Guidry. Members, vote your machines. We have 8 yeas. Motion. We're back in regular order. Item D, a resolution supporting Attorney General of Louisiana Jeff Landry in litigation against FEMA to challenge risk rating 2.0.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Darian Guidry and a second by Mr. John Amity. Members, vote your machines. Motion passes. Item 2, public wishing to address the council. Mr. Floyd Bajeron, a Homer resident, wishes to address the council regarding fireworks. Mr. Bajeron?
Floyd Bajeron, I guess you might say I'm a resident and spokesman for UK subdivision. I'm gonna go over this real briefly. This thing was brought up and passed in a total of 23 days. Now, since the last time my wife and I was here, things have gotten a little bit worse in our subdivision. We've had 2 people that had major catastrophes again, so we got a whole bunch of people that are homebound. They can't do nothing when the fireworks start booming. Absolutely nothing. So I'm here tonight to see if we can get something resolved. When y'all passed it, it said, whereas the council and the parish president believe that regulation and sale of fireworks would be approved and would be in blah, 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 blah. And then it says, whereas the general public has expressed an interest in enjoying the fireworks. Now, that's my point I'm trying to get to. I know if we'd have had an election and let the people in Buchanan vote, we got 5 streets, 5 small streets. It's the oldest subdivision in Terrebonne Parish. And y'all would know then how we affect the fireworks affect us, and if we'd accepted it. Now, I went to the clerk of court's office. Now it says the general public. That's everything outside the city limits. Now, Ms. Rodriguez went through she gave me about 15 minutes at a time, and she come up with there was about 25,000 people, registered voters living outside the city limits. Now, how in the world can you put the general public in there and say you got everybody is for it? I know you got a lot of people behind this counter here that was for it, and probably some that come to, probably I'm gonna say it, make a few dollars on it was for it. But what I'd like to see is the people of Buchanan subdivision, and when my wife and I was here the last time, Mr. Hebert, and I read it in the minutes later, we weren't here when he said it, but he said it would be a simple thing to address and correct. Just amend the ordinance, the original ordinance, to omit Buchanan subdivision from using fireworks. Now, that's why I'm here tonight. I'm going to start with Mr. Babin, and ask one of you to bring it up and put it on the agenda and get us out of this fireworks dilemma. From Mr. Babin on, y'all probably can't do nothing tonight because I don't have a councilman. He don't answer my wife's calls, and he don't answer my calls. Well, the council member of District 3, how's that? Was that sufficient? Because he doesn't represent us. I have people all over my neighborhood. They probably go come talk to me tomorrow morning. They go, see me on your new TV and ask me what's going to transpire. Now, that's what I'm asking you to do. You probably won't do nothing tonight, but I may come back. But like I say, that one sentence in here makes the whole thing, in my opinion, null and void. So any questions?
Mr. Michel.
When he's finished speaking, I'll address it.
He has 1 second.
Let him finish.
Mr. Floyd, that's not appropriate. Mr. Michel, you have.
Yes. First of all, Mr. Floyd and I have had this conversation many times, and his choice of the words that good. Okay, the choice of words that he pointed out was that the general public agreed with it. When somebody says the general public agrees with something, it does not mean everybody in the general public. And when someone says that that they represent the neighborhood, it doesn't mean they represent everyone in the neighborhood. I offered to Mr. Floyd, I said, look, you get a representation of people in that neighborhood who say they want to have an amended ordinance that excludes that subdivision. If enough people in that neighborhood are interested in that, then I will look into it. And he was not happy with that response. He got ugly with me. And so, yes, I quit taking his calls. And so as a result, he did not want to go through the process to see who else wanted it. And I'm not willing to put it on the agenda based upon the request of only one person in the subdivision, or even if he could get 10 people together. I'd want to know that that the majority of the people in the subdivision would want that to happen, at which time I would entertain putting it on the agenda for an amendment. And that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you, Mr. Michel. There's no other speaker cards. Committee reports. Item A, Budget and Finance Committee, Mr. Dirk Guidry.
I make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Budget and Finance Committee held on May 8, 2023, and I have no public hearings.
We have a motion by Mr. Dirk Guidry and a second by Mr. Carl Harding. Members, vote your machines. We have 9 yeas. Motion passes. Public Service Committee, Mr. Carl Harding.
Yes, I make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Public Service Committee meeting held on May 8, 2023, and I have no public hearings.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Carl Harding and a second by, We have a motion by Mr. Harding and a second by Mr. Darren Guidry. Members, vote your machines. Nine yeas, motion passes. Item C, Community Development and Planning Committee, Mr. John Amity.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Community Development and Planning Committee held on May 8th, 2023, and I have 2 public hearings. The first is giving notice of an intent to adopt an ordinance to amend the zoning map of the parish of Terrebonne so as to rezone from R1 single-family residential to R3 multifamily residential, Lot 7, Block D, Mechanicville, 115 King Street, Houma, Terrebonne Parish, Louisiana. Sylvester Warren Jr., applicant, and calling a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, June 14th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. The second is giving notice of intent to adopt an ordinance to amend the zoning map of Terrebonne Parish so as to rezone from open land to light industrial tract B of Danos Property LLC, 1865 Valhalla Boulevard, Terrebonne Parish, Louisiana. Danos Properties LLC applicant, and calling a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, June 14th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m.
We have a motion by Mr. John Amity and a second by Mr. Dirk Gidry. Members, vote your machines. 9 yeas, motion passes. Item 4, streetlights. As per by Mr. Dirk Gidry. Sorry? Item 4? Okay, then, all right. Item 5, notice of meetings. Approve council attending at the National Association of Counties, NACO, to be held in Travis County, Austin, Texas, from July 21st to July 24th, 2023, as per travel policy. Moved by Mr. Dirk Gidry, second by Mr. John Amity. Members, vote your machines. Nine yeas, motion passes. Item 6, appointments of various boards, committees, and commissions. Recreation District 11 Board, 1 vacancy due to resignation. Mr. Noah Leeret submits application and resume for consideration. Mr. Anthony Matthews submits application and resume for consideration. However, he has withdrawn his name. Mr. Lionel Lewis submits application and resume for consideration. Motion to open and close and vote by Mr. Gerald Michel. Second by Mr. Carl Harding. Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Trusclair. Mr. Pleasure. Mr. Harding. Mr. Michel. Mr. Amity.
Mr. Lerat?
Ms. Domingue.
Leeret.
Mr. Gidry. Mr. Babin. And Mr. Dirk Gidry.
Mr. Lewis?
We have 6 for Mr. Leeret and 3 for Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, and congratulations to Mr. Leeret. He is not here tonight, but I will call him this afternoon and congratulate him. Item 7, vacancies to various boards, committees, and commission. Recreation District Number 2-3 Board, 1 expired term on 5/31/2023 and 1 vacancy due to resignation. Recreation District Number 7 Board, 1 expiring term on 6/24/2023. Recreation District Number 9 Board, 1 expired term on 6/8/2023. Consolidated Waterworks, 3 expired term, 1 expired term on 6/24/2023, representing Council District Number 9, 2 expired terms on 6/30/2023, 1 representing each of the following: Council District Number 7 and Council District Number 8. Item 8, announcements. Parish President, Mr. Dove, do you have any announcements? Council, any announcements? Yes, Mr. Harding.
No, basically, it's a comment. The last council meeting, I actually attended. After the council meeting, I attended the Housing Authority meeting that they had at the library with 2 other councilmen, Ms. Doman and Mr. Pleasure. I think we've made some headway in reference to having more knowledge and being able to try to cover the problems that exist in reference to housing. So just want to pass that out on to the people of Terrebonne Parish that are in that position. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harding. Mr. Darren Gidry.
Yeah, and I'd just like to announce that this weekend on Saturday, the Terrebonne Foundation for Academic Excellence will be having their Fun Run and Food Fest. So if you want to come enjoy some good food, at 6 p.m. they'll begin serving food. They'll have a live band, and I think it'll go until 9 p.m. or later. So come on out Saturday to the Terrebonne Foundation for Academic Excellence Fun Run and Food Fest. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Gidry. Mr. Michel.
Thank you. Just would ask people who are able to donate blood, and specifically this week, the Knights of Columbus at St. Gregory Catholic Church at 1005 Williams Avenue is going to have a blood drive from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. So if you're able, please go to St. Gregory on the corner of, 6th Street, I believe, and Williams. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Michel. Mr. Dirk Gidry.
Yeah, would you please go down these buys and buy some shrimp from these local fishermen? They're really suffering really hard right now. So I think they have a protest in Baton Rouge tomorrow morning if anybody's interested in going. So thank y'all, and go out and support our local fishermen.
Thank you, Mr. Guidry, and I would like to take one quick little second and wish both my girls happy birthday, and wish one of them a very happy birthday, which will be on Mother's Day. And I'd also like to wish all the mothers, especially the mothers up here, a very, very happy Mother's Day. Item 9, monthly engineering reports. As per by Mr. Dirk Guidry. Second by Mr. Darren Guidry. Members, vote your machines. We have 9 yeas. Motion passes. Item 10, staff reports. A, pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 42, colon 16-17, the council may, upon 2/3 affirmative vote, convene into executive session in order to discuss the following: litigation between Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government and Terrebonne Parish DA Joseph L. Waltz Jr. Louisiana Department of Natural Resources and Freeport-McMoran et al., as well as any other litigation, settlement offers, and/or other matters related thereto, including but not limited to case numbers 185576 and 188363. We have a motion to go into executive session by Mr. Gerald Michel. Second by Mr. Dirk Guidry. Members, vote your machines. We have 5 yeas. Motion fails.
Okay, please identify.
Okay. Okay. It's on the screen. Okay. Mr. Gerald Michel voted yay. Mr. Daniel Babin voted nay. Mr. Yay. Mr. Brian Pleasure voted nay. Mr. Dirk Guidry voted yay. I voted nay. John Amity voted yay. Carl Harding voted nay. Darren Guidry voted yay, and Steve Trosclair voted nay.
Motion adjourned.
Motion adjourned by Mr. Steve Trosclair. It's not a discussion question item. There's no discussion. We have a motion to adjourn by Mr. John Amity and a second by Mr. Darren Guidry. Members, vote your machines.